Since the Maximise Recycling Scheme began in July 2008, there are certain items which have never been allowed in the recyclables and compostable bins. The Council collects thousands of tonnes of materials each year for recycling, and occasionally the loads from the collection vehicles contain materials that are in the incorrect bin, known as contamination. Contamination makes the recycling process more time-consuming, costly and inefficient, and could also lead to the whole lorry load being taken to landfill. Recently, we have seen contamination rates rise, and in order to address this, if your bin is contaminated, it will be stickered and left uncollected. Contamination in the recyclables bin includes black sacks or bin liners, textiles, pieces of plastic wrappings such as cling film and bubble wrap, nappies, other non-recyclable waste including food, and household electrical items such as kettles, irons and toasters. The Council will collect all carrier bags that are placed in the recyclables bin, but please put them in loose. We would also ask that you ensure all other recyclables are rinsed and clean and placed loose into a bin. And if you are unsure of which item goes into which bin, please check the A to Z of materials at www.rochford.gov.uk/recycling A to Z, or call customer services on 01702 318111. And one of the questions the Council's recycling team are asked most while they are out and about in the district is how residents can get more waste into bins. Here's some tips from the team on how you can make the most out of your recycling bins. Placing items into the bins. Additional capacity, especially in the recyclables bin, can be created by making sure that items are squashed where possible. Stacking items into one another, for example plastic food trays, and placing large pieces of flattened cardboard by the sides of the bins. Home composting. If you have a garden with space for a compost bin, then this is a useful way to not only divert some of the food and garden waste away from your compostables bin, but also to provide you with some free compost for your garden. Reducing the amount of food you throw away. The Love Food, Hate Waste campaign provides lots of information on reducing the amount of food you buy, and you can find out more at www.lovefoodhatewaste.com. Bulky waste and electrical items. Items of furniture, plastic toys, lino and carpet tiles can all be collected via the bulky waste collection scheme, so there is no need for items such as these to be placed into the non-recyclables bin. Small electrical items such as kettles and toasters can't be placed into any of the bins, as they are classed as hazardous waste and should be disposed of at the household waste site in Castle Road, Rayleigh. The 2011 Love Where You Live campaign is well underway across Essex. You can show your community spirit this autumn by organising your own Love Where You Live events. The initiative is intended to act as a focal point for volunteers across the county to arrange their own local clean-up event or any other activity that brings together and celebrates the local community. The new website, www.goodforessex.org/lovewhereyoulive, is now live, where you can register your own events. Everyone who does this will receive a free support pack. Love Where You Live activities can be local clean-up events or anything that benefits the community. These could include picking up litter, removing graffiti, weed clearance, planting flowers, a fete, jumble sale or craft fair, helping elderly residents, lead walks or cycle rides, charity fashion show or coffee morning. Love Where You Live activities will run throughout 2011, so there's plenty of time to get involved and organise your own events. As well as visiting www.goodforessex.org/lovewhereyoulive, you can receive the latest updates by following at Essex_love_live on Twitter, or becoming a fan of Facebook. If you wish to hold a Love Where You Live activity in a public area, you are advised to contact your local authority first.
NHS South East Essex is urging people to choose well to ensure they receive the right treatment and help the NHS to manage its resources. If you're feeling unwell, there are a range of NHS services available, and these are self-care. This is the best choice to treat very minor injuries. A range of common illnesses and complaints such as coughs, colds, sore throats and upset stomachs and aches and pains can be treated with a well-stocked medicine cabinet and plenty of rest. Self-care essentials include paracetamol, antidiarrheal medicines, rehydration mixes, indigestion remedies and a thermometer. Or have a look at the NHS Choices dedicated website www.nhs.uk, where you can find up-to-date and expert advice on a range of illnesses and complaints, as well as finding your nearest NHS services such as GPs, dentists and pharmacists. NHS Direct on 0845 4647 provides a confidential telephone service 24 hours a day, giving advice and guidance on health issues. Your local pharmacy can provide confidential, expert advice and treatment for a range of common illnesses and complaints without having to wait for a GP appointment. If you do have an illness or injury that won't go away, make an appointment with your GP. They provide a range of services by appointment and, when absolutely essential, can make home visits. Walk-in centres offer convenient access to a range of treatments for minor illnesses and injuries. Your nearest walk-in centre here is St Luke's Health Centre at Pantile Avenue, Southend-on-Sea, SS2 4BD. It's open every Monday to Saturday from 8 AM to 8 PM, including bank holidays, and you can telephone them on 01702 611 505. And finally, A&E departments and the 999 ambulance service should only be used in a critical or life-threatening situation. Dialing 999 and stating an emergency situation will result in a response vehicle being sent to your location. Your nearest A&E department is at Southend Hospital on Prittlewell Chase, Westcliff-on-Sea, Essex, SS00RY, and their telephone number is 01702 435 555.
A guide with up-to-date information about local healthcare services is available on the NHS South East Essex website at www.see.nhs.uk. The e-booklet entitled Your Guide to Local Health Services 2010-11, published by NHS South East Essex, contains lots of useful contact numbers, including information about local NHS dentists, GP practices, pharmacies and opticians. A variety of other useful telephone numbers for local health services and helplines are also featured in the guide. The guide can be downloaded and printed at local libraries should you not have internet access at home. Information about how NHS South East Essex spends its budget is included. You can also find out more about how you can have your say when it comes to local healthcare services by sharing feedback and being more involved in the decision-making process. The chairman of NHS South East Essex, Catherine Kirk, said, "There are so many local health services available across South East Essex, and by having all the information in one place, not only can people get quick access to their GP or dentist's phone number, they can also find out more about a wealth of other local services that might be of interest to them." And here's how you can get your copy of the Guide to Health Services. Online, you log on to www.see.nhs.uk. On the front page, go to Click Here to download your Guide 2010-11. Once you've clicked, the guide should automatically appear. And as we've said before, if you don't have access to the internet, go to your local library and they can download a copy for you. The initiative, shown by two Hockley teenagers who went to the aid of an elderly lady in distress, has been recognised by the police and Rochford District Community Safety Partnerships, known as CSP. Greenswood Academy students Amy Castleton and Megan Anderson, both 16, have each been presented with a letter of commendation from District Commander-in-Chief Inspector Glenn Wesley and £15 iTunes vouchers by the CSP. The girls were approached by the elderly lady in White Hart Lane, Hockley. The woman, confused and disorientated after mistakenly alighting from a bus, had lost her bag containing her bus pass and mobile phone and could not remember where she lived. She asked us where the community hall was, but neither of us knew what she meant, so we tried to direct her to a nearby church, but she didn't really understand, explained Amy and Megan. After several attempts to find someone to help or who might know or recognise the woman, the girls took her to Hockley Library and the police were called. Police Community Support Officer John Venner said the girls showed great presence of mind in not abandoning the lady but getting her to a place of safety. Fortunately, she was later able to recall the name of the care home, which allowed us to pinpoint its location and have someone collect her.
Rochford District Council, Essex Police and the CPS have joined forces in a new initiative to tackle antisocial behaviour and nuisance in Hockley. Working together, the partners have secured a dispersal order for large areas of the town, giving police proactive powers to defuse potential nuisance behaviour. Officers can disperse groups of 2 or more people congregating in designated dispersal areas, including Maryland's Nature Reserve and Woods, Plummerow Mount and the grounds of Bettswood Community Centre. Anyone refusing to leave when asked by the officers or who returns within 24 hours commits an offence and can be arrested. The order also gives police the power to take children under 16 years old back home if stopped in a designated area after 9 p.m. and not accompanied by a responsible adult. In the month following the introduction of the order on Monday, the 11th of July, police used their powers to remove 66 people. There were 15 fewer incidents of antisocial behaviour in the designated area over this period than the same time last year.
Businesses and organisations across the district are being asked to join the Council's efforts to stop domestic violence and potentially save a life. They're being asked to support J9, a campaign to make information about domestic abuse more accessible by displaying leaflets in their premises, training 1 or more employees in awareness of domestic abuse, and by allowing victims the use of a phone to get help if they need it. Virgin Active fitness centres, local libraries, children's centres and a number of schools have already signed up to the campaign. If you run a business or organisation in the Rochford District and wish to take part in the scheme, then please contact Rochford District Council's Domestic Abuse Reduction Officer, Tracy Schneider, on 01702 546366.
A reminder to listeners plagued by unsolicited marketing and sales calls. Help is at hand in the shape of the Telephone Preference Service, known as the TPS. The TPS maintains a central opt-out register of people who do not wish to receive uninvited marketing approaches. Companies who knowingly call numbers registered with the TPS break the law. The service is free, and once a number has been registered, it becomes effective in 28 days. So to register, call the TPS registration line on 0845 070 0707. Alternatively, go to the TPS website on www.tpsonline.org.uk. Please make sure you use this address. There have been instances of people using search engines to locate the site, only to inadvertently connect to commercial companies who charge for their services.